Hello and welcome to day 5 of the 30 days of ads in April, where we're bringing you 30 days of free Facebook and Instagram ads training in the hope that this will support you, help you, drive you to grow your online business, to start your online business, or to make more sales, get more people to opt in for your email list, get more people to join you on your webinar, whatever it is that you are using Facebook ads for. I want you to have more knowledge about it so that you can get better results, so that you can grow your online business more. And I trust that this is finding you well, wherever you are, that you are safe, that you are sound, that you are finding creative ways to stay isolated right now, and that everyone in your family is well too. And today in day 5, we're going to ask 12 powerful questions that will help you improve the targeting so that you can uncover your best audiences on Facebook and Instagram. And I'm not sure, but maybe for you, I know this is what a lot of people say to me sometimes, is finding their audience on Facebook can feel a little bit like finding a needle in a haystack. And I would sometimes go into students' accounts or people that I'm helping with their accounts, and I would look at their targeting and it's a bit wonky. And so today I'm going to share with you 12 powerful questions you can ask to really uncover those interests, pages, personalities, businesses that you can target on Facebook then, to uncover where those pockets of audiences sit that are going to bring in the leads for you. So let's look at the 12 powerful questions to find your audience fast. Question number 1 is, where is your audience located? And this question probably comes more from people who have businesses in Australia, New Zealand, or the UK. Especially if you have an online business, this is an important question. And the answer to what I used to say before all the coronavirus madness happens was, I used to say to people in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, find your audience in the US first, because the US has the largest market. So you have the opportunity there to tap into cheaper leads and to test your messaging. Right now, I am going to say, if you are an international brand and your audience can be found in any of the 5 English-speaking countries, I want you to put all 5 English-speaking countries into one ad set and target based on interests. What's going to happen is the country where people resonate with your message most, Facebook will skew towards that country anyway. So if you were going to run those ads in the US, you might end up with the majority of your leads still coming from the US, even though you've included Australia, New Zealand, the UK, and Canada in that ad set. But if your audience is, let's say your audience is literally really only located in New Zealand, then you are only going to target New Zealand. Now, I do want to say, for my Aussie friends, my New Zealand friends, my Canadian friends, our countries are smaller, our populations are smaller, cost per leads are higher. So you are just going to have to work that into your business model and know that you are going to pay more for a lead if you're only running ads to Australia. You're going to pay more for a lead if you're only running ads in Canada. But if you have a global brand, put all of the 5 English-speaking countries into one ad set, target them all, and Facebook will skew it towards the country where you're getting the best leads anyway. Another question I get asked sometimes is, if I've had sales from countries like South Africa, India, Denmark, South America, somewhere in South America, Africa, if I've had sales from those countries, should I be targeting them? And I'm going to say no, unless you know very clearly and very specifically that your target audience is only in that country, or is very specifically in that country. For example, if you have an online business that teaches people online marketing in Spanish, then you might only want to target the South American countries. But if it's in English, then you'll keep it with the 5 English countries. Or if you only teach in German, then you would only run your ads in Germany, and you are just going to have to adjust your business model for that country. So think about where your audience is located, and think about whether that same person could be located globally, because that will bring down your lead cost a lot. But also keep in mind, if it is very specific to a country, you need to target that country, and just keep that in mind for your business model. The next question is, what age and gender are your customers? And I know this is where it becomes very tempting to say, yeah, but my customers can be any age and they can be any gender. And I want you to be specific about this, because online it can get skewed quite easily. A more feminine audience will behave differently than a more masculine audience. So even if you know your ideal customer is a woman, but you also attract men and you also enjoy working with men, and it's not like you want to exclude them, you still want to just target women. The men will come. The right men will come. The same goes for men. If you know you resonate more with a male audience, but occasionally you attract women as well, and those women are amazing, and they will find you. They will find you. So don't be afraid to narrow it down. Don't be afraid to narrow the age down to about 20 years. I always target, like for my business, women between 40 and 50 is my sweet spot. I might make that bigger and go 35 to 45 or even 35 to 55. But I know she's probably somewhere around 40, 45, 50. I know that because I've seen her enough times. So don't be afraid to be specific. The more specific you are, the better the quality of lead will be. The next question is, what else are your ideal customer buying, or who are they buying from as well? I want you to think of, if you're in the online marketing space, social media space, you might be selling information, but your ideal customer is also buying software, which is very different to information. Your ideal customer might also be buying apps, which is very different from information. If you're a health coach, you tend to think only around what other health coaches' content are they consuming. But what about yoga mats? What about meditation apps? Think a little bit outside the box. Think a little bit differently to your specific niche or industry. If you teach people how to decorate flowers, do they also buy home decor information products? It's the same sort of thing, but it's different. But it's an overlap enough that it might be a good fit for you. Then ask yourself, what stores are your ideal customers shopping in? And here I want you to think in terms of kind of a dichotomy. I want you to create this sort of contrast between, let's say, the person who shops at Target and the person who shops at Nordstrom. They're slightly different people. So just go through your audience. Now, the very typical Nordstrom woman might also occasionally shop at Target, but is she the typical Target mom? Not quite. The typical Target mom might occasionally shop at Nordstrom, but which one is she more likely to identify with? Think about that. Think about high-end versus mainstream. And think about, what does this person buy on Amazon? If you were able to go into this person's Amazon account and see what they bought in the last 3 months, what would you uncover? What would surprise you? What wouldn't surprise you at all? What do you already know he or she is buying loads of? The next one I want you to think about is, who are your competitors? Now, if you're like me and you're in the information space or in the service space, I don't really consider myself as having competitors, right? I don't see anybody else who teaches Facebook ads as competing with me because they don't have my personality. They don't explain it the way I do. They don't use the metaphors I use. They don't answer the questions the way I do. So I don't consider them competition, but I'm still going to go to the audience insights tool that Facebook gives me and enter their pages in there and see what other interest comes up, especially if they have a larger audience than me, because it is an indication of an overlap of interest. So don't spend hours and hours and hours getting sucked into who you think your competition is if it's going to put you in a place of scarcity, but look at who your competitors are, even if you don't consider them competitors, and go into the audience insights tool, see if there's something you can learn there about the overlapping interests of people who like their pages, and then also go into the ads library. If you just search Facebook ads library, you'll find a tool where Facebook allows you to look at every single ad every single person on Facebook is running right now. So if you go and have a look at the ads your competition is running right now, what are you learning about the offers they're making? What are you learning about the marketing messaging they're using? So look at that. The next question is, what personalities do your ideal customer follow? And here again, I want you to think of it as a contrast, kind of similar to the Target Nordstrom contrast. I like to use the Angelina Jolie versus Jennifer Aniston contrast because you don't get a better example of two completely different personalities, two completely different women with completely different values. I feel like one is dark, one is light, one is cheerful, one is more depressing, one is controversial, one always does the right thing. Like, who are the personalities in your space that are opposites? And think about which one of those personalities your audience is most likely to follow. For example, if you're in online marketing or education, is your audience more likely to follow Frank Kern, or are they more likely to follow Amy Porterfield? They're both incredibly successful online marketers with two very different personalities and styles, and they attract a different type of audience. If you're a health coach, is your audience more likely to follow someone like Chalene Johnson, or are they more likely to follow Jillian Michaels? There's a contrast. There's a very clear contrast. And if you just make a list of names or personalities and go, is it more this one or more that one? You kind of start to narrow it down. If you're the flower decorations, you teach people how to decorate with flowers. It might be, are they more Martha Stewart type people or Joanna Gaines type people? You kind of, I think you get the point. You start playing around with a contrast of these personalities. The next question is, what tools or software do they use? Everyone's buying software online to make our lives easier. We're all doing it. What apps are they downloading? What are the most common apps that they have on their phone? What are the productivity tools they use? What are the software they use to run their businesses? What are the software they run to relax? Think about all those things. What software do they have that overlaps with your business? The next one is, what media is there specific to your industry or your target market that they may consume? Think about books. So go to Amazon and type in your topic of your niche and see what books come up. See which books have the highest ratings. And research those authors. Research them on Facebook because you might discover brand new people that you can target there. What TV shows do they watch? What blogs do they read regularly? Which websites do they go for? Which websites do they read? Which magazines? So are they, again, it's this contrast. Are they more into runner's world or Whole Living? Which magazine do they buy? Think about it. If they are, if they're into personal development, are they more Tony Robbins type people or more Rachel Hollis type people? They're both personal developments. They both write books. Which books do they read? Do they read Tony Robbins or Rachel Hollis? Which one is it? So let that guide you in identifying who your ideal customer is. Then ask yourself, are there any events or conferences that people attend that your ideal customer wouldn't miss for the world? Or if they do miss it, do they buy the online recording of that event? Ask yourself, who are the sponsors of that event? Who created the event? Who are the speakers at that event? Anybody that links to that event, what does that tell you about personalities, businesses, pages, profiles you can target? And can you find similar things? The next question is, what other Facebook pages do they follow? And here, if you make a list of other pages that they follow and you go into the audience insights tool, you can get sucked in and stay there for days and days and days and days. It is fascinating to start seeing the overlap between different pages. So go in there and see what other pages. Start with the obvious ones. Make a list of new ones you discover, then enter those new ones into the audience insights tool and see what you find that overlaps, that surprises you. Now, think about what other influencers, entertainers, celebrities do they follow? Who else has their attention? We have covered this so thoroughly now, but just ask yourself, who else has their attention? What are you not thinking about? For example, if someone was to target me and they have already used all the online marketing targeting, they've used all the geographical targeting, living in Australia, the one major area of my life that I would say that they haven't yet targeted is being a mum, right? So there is an overlap. If your ideal audience, ideal target market has major life things that they follow in other areas of their lives that you can identify and tap into, see if it works for you and test it. Think about popular culture. Think about what these people are talking to their colleagues over the water fountain at work about. Think about what they're texting their friends about in Facebook Messenger. What are they passing on? What articles are they sharing? And then the very last question is, have they experienced any recent life events? You can actually target people by life events. You can target people by friends of people who have birthdays coming up. You can target people by newly engaged. You can target people by newly married. You can target people by having a baby. You can target them by the age of their children. You can even target them, I think this is US only, you can even target them by which zip code they're in, what percentage of household income that is in. So if you want to target people in the highest income brackets, you just go USA wide, but only people who are in the top 10% of zip codes. Where the zip codes with the highest income. So you can do that and find people who maybe if you sell a very high level, high end thing, you can do that. So now, my friend, I want you to put this all together. Make a giant list of things you can target, people you can target, pages, interests, life events. Just go wild and then start putting them into little buckets, compartments, put them together, see if you can narrow the audience down to be somewhere between 2 million and 10 million. If you're running cold ads, you want it to be somewhere between 2 million and 10 million. If it goes beyond 10 million, it's maybe too big. If it goes below 2 million, it's too small. But put it together and then taste it. See what works. figure out what works for you. So what happens next? We have a free guide called the 12 Powerful Questions that will help you improve your targeting and uncover your best audiences on Facebook and Instagram, where we take you through all of these questions I've just talked you through, and you can use this video as the companion for that. And you are welcome to download that at shineandsucceed.com/ads in April 5. And if you're listening on the podcast, that's shineandsucceed.com/ads in April 5. And if you have learned something from this episode, I would love to hear from you. Put a comment in the video below, or below this video, wherever you're watching, or send us an email at hello@shineandsucceed.com and tell us what you've learned and tell us what you have uncovered. I trust that the month of April in 2020, where the entire world, we're all in isolation, we're all fighting this coronavirus thing together, I trust that this finds you really well. I hope that you're well. I send this video out to you with much love, and I hope I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.